I guess I'm on live. I don't know for sure. Is anybody on here? Is anyone on here? Anybody on here? Is anyone on here? I'm in my studio downstairs. Say hi if you're on here. We'll be starting probably right around 11 o'clock. There's a couple little things that I have to set up yet. So I am going to move this down to my table so you'll be able to see my table and what I'm working on. We'll be starting probably right around 11 o'clock. There's a couple little things that I have to set up yet. So I am going to move this down to my table so you'll be able to see my table and what I'm working on. Hope you can hear me. Hope you can hear me. Hope you can hear me. That was my alarm to let me know it's soon time to get started. That was my alarm to let me know it's soon time to get started. I have no idea how many are on here. It doesn't tell me. I have no idea how many are on here. It doesn't tell me. And this is my first time. So I hope you bear with me. And this is my first time. So I hope you bear with me. And we have about 2 minutes to go yet. I'm pretty well set up, but you know there's going to be something that I forgot that'll take up my time. Uh, I want to thank everybody for coming in. I was nervous about being able to set this up because I am not a tech person. But you know there's going to be something that I forgot that'll take up my time. I want to thank everybody for coming in. I was nervous about being able to set this up because I am not a tech person. So have patience with me. One thing that I am noticing is that the sound is coming from my computer, but I am actually filming on my iPad. I don't know why my iPad is not picking up my voice. One thing that I am noticing is that the sound is coming from my computer, but I am actually filming on my iPad. I don't know why my iPad is not picking up my voice. So we're having double volume issues. So we're having double volume issues. Next time I do this, I promise you I will have this all figured out. But I do plan on doing this more often. Next time I do this, I promise you I will have this all figured out. But I do plan on doing this more often. Okay, it is 11 o'clock, so I am going to get started. I'm working from my studio in my basement, and I plan on completing an entire painting. Now I am going to be painting with cold wax and oil on paper. I am going to get started. I'm working from my studio in my basement, and I plan on completing an entire painting. Now I am going to be painting with cold wax and oil on paper. And we have two different kinds of paper that I will use. I almost always use the Arches, and it does say oil paper. It's the red label. And it comes in various sizes. This is a 9 by 12 size. This is what I always use. I just picked this up. This is oil painting paper by Strathmore. I have never used that before, but I am going to start using this as well because it's cheaper than this. So this is what it looks like right here. I've just taken a piece out. I have never used that before, but I am going to start using this as well. And what I have done here is I have a piece of freezer paper. I'm going to put my paper down on top of the freezer paper, like so. And what I suggest that you do is to get yourself a mat from the craft store. And that way you can draw on the paper the size of your mat. And then when you're finished, you don't have to worry about getting
someone to cut a mat for you, because you can just go to the store and get one.
Get yourself a mat from the craft
Now,
store.
this is a, what size is this? This is 11 by 14.
On the paper, the size of your
And
mat.
so I'm going to
And then when
pretty
you're
well
finished, you don't have to worry about getting someone to cut a mat for you, because you can
size
just
it
go
up
to
on the
store and
back,
get one.
lay it down,
Now, this is
and then I'm going to take a
what size is
pencil
this is 11 by 14.
and I'm going to draw this mat size on here. So when I finish, it's going to fit this. So now I'm going to get my freezer paper and I'm going to tape it down onto my freezer paper. That way I can
I'm going to draw this mat size on here. So when I finish, it's going to fit this.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape it a little beyond that line.
I'm going to tape it down onto my freezer paper. That way, I can
and I want the entire thing covered because I don't want it to go on my paper. So I'm gonna tape all my sides, and I'm doing this in its entirety for you so you know exactly what I'm doing. Now once again, I'm going beyond that line so I have a little bit of wiggle room.
I'm gonna tape all my sides, and I'm doing this in its entirety for you, so you know exactly what I'm doing. Now, once again, I'm going beyond that line, so I have a little bit of wiggle room.
Beyond the line. Beyond the line. One more edge to go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fingernail over this edge because I want it to be tight and I do not want anything to flow underneath it. So I have a good clean white margin. Very important, most beginners forget this. Now normally what I would do, and I can't do it here because we're live, I would take clear gesso by Liquitex. And I would take a brush and go along that edge. And that really seals that even more. Now I can't do it because it won't dry for me to continue on. But that would be my next step. And it would take only about 10-15 minutes for it to dry. So I'm going to skip this step right now. The reason why I put it on paper is that I can move it. If I put it down onto my table, taped it onto my table, I wouldn't be able to move it. So now I am going to put this away and we're going to work on our colors.
The reason why I put it on paper is that
I'm going to move this just a little bit.
If I put it down onto my table, taped it onto my table, I wouldn't be able to move it.
I'm going to put some gloves on, which I almost always forget to do. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming.
I'm going to put some gloves on, which I always forget to do.
Okay. Now, there's two kinds of cold wax that I use. I use both the Dorlands and Gamblin. Gamblin's more expensive than the Dorlands. The Gamblin is the Cadillac, the Dorlands is the Ford. They both work. And I buy whatever's on sale. If you have some of Gamblin and some of Dorlands, you can mix it together. It doesn't really matter. You can interchange them.
The Gamblin is the Cadillac, the Dorlands is the Ford. They both work.
All I have to do now is get it open.
I buy whatever's on sale. If you have some of Gamblin and some of Dorlands, you can mix it together. It doesn't really matter. You can interchange them.
I should have tried to open this baby.
All I have to do now is get it open.
I can't get it open. Here's Gamblin, so I'm going to open the Gamblin instead.
I should have tried to open this baby.
And it comes in small sizes, quarts and pints.
Can't get it open. Here's Gamblin, so I'm going to open the
I use a lot of cold wax, so I buy it by the gallon. And normally a gallon, if it's not on sale, would run about $120. But on sale, you can get it for about $85.90. Now, you can use cold wax all by itself. You don't have to add anything to it. I add G-gel to it. Gamblin solvent-free gel. It's called G-gel. Why do I use G-gel in my cold wax?
all by itself. You don't have to add.
Number one reason for me is that it helps your painting to dry faster. It will dry much quicker.
Solvent-free gel.
Two,
It's called G-gel.
it makes your
Why do I use G-gel?
paint more transparent.
Number one reason for
And
me
if you read
is that it helps
the label, it says you can use up to 50-50. I do not use about 50-50 because my cold wax gets too juicy. So I use about 20% G-gel to 80% cold wax. Now I'm going to put some,
the label, it says you can use up to 50-50. I do not use about 50-50 because my cold wax gets too
and I'm going to
juicy.
put some right here.
So I use about 20% G-gel to 80% cold wax. Now I am going to put some. I do not use about 50 and I'm going to put some right here.
Close this up. And what I do is I just squirt some on, like so. That's about 20% or so.
Close this up.
If you start a painting with cold wax with G-gel in it,
I just squirt some on.
you have to finish it with cold wax and G-gel.
Like so.
In other words, if you run out of cold wax with G-gel and just start using cold wax, not a good thing. And put this over here, and then I'm going to mix this up really well.
If you start a painting with cold wax with G-gel in it, you have to finish it with cold wax and G-gel. In other words, if you run out of cold wax with G-gel and just start using cold wax, not a good thing. Put this over here, and then I'm going to mix this up really well.
You want to mix it until you don't see any more G-gel. I don't like this palette knife. I picked up some red somewhere. I have no idea where I picked it up.
You want to mix it until you don't see any more ginger. I don't like this.
Okay, now I have a pile of cold wax here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put it in a container. I keep a container. You can see I have a G on it. That means G gel. So I know that this cold wax has G gel in it.
I have a pile of cold wax here. What I'm going to do,
And put it in here.
in a container. I keep a container. You can see I have a G on it. That means G gel. So I know that this cold wax
In this container will last a long time, as long as you have a good tight seal on it. I've had this in here for months, so it will not go bad. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to squirt out some colors.
This cold wax in this container will last a long
Now I
time,
have
as long as you
black
have a good
and
tight
white.
seal on
I'm
it.
going to put a squirt of each one of those out, and these are by Utrecht. I normally will use Utrecht or I will use Gamblin most of the time. I have some other colors that are Charbon
Now I have black and white.
and Gamblin. So I'm just going to put a squirt out of each one of
I
these.
will use Utrecht or I will use Gamblin most of
Wow,
the
this
time.
is acrylic.
I have some
Wow, did I almost make a mistake? I have to wipe this up.
So I'm just going to put a
It just didn't feel like oil, and it was in my oil pad instead of my acrylics.
Wow, this is acrylic. Wow, did I almost make a mistake?
Okay, so I'm gonna get some black.
I have to wipe this up. It just didn't feel like oil, and it was in my oil pad instead of my acrylics. Okay, so I'm gonna get some black.
Almost made a big mistake. Now you can see the labels are just about the same. You want to make sure you're using oil only. You can use, for color, you can use oil or you can use dry pigment. Now this is Mars Ivory Black by Utrecht.
You can see the labels are just about the same. You want to make sure you're using oil only. You can use, for color, you can use oil or you can use
So now I'm
dry
going to
pigment.
use
Now
a
this
squirt of that.
Mars Ivory Black by Utrecht.
And this is oil, white. Now I'm going to use more white probably than any color, so I'm going to squirt out a little bit more. That was my white. Then I'm going to make a gray out of these two colors. This is Titanium Buff by Gamblin. Put a little bit of that out. Here is Gamblin Asphaltium.
Then I'm going to make a gray out of these two colors. This is Titanium Buff by Gamblin.
All I have to do is try to get some out.
Here is Gamblin Asphaltium.
I can't get it out. Okay, I am going to find another one with asphaltium in it. This is transparent orange. And then I have some odd colors here. I have, just in case I need it, this is Chevron Bright Linen. And this is Utrecht's Transparent Gold Ochre. I don't know if I'm going to use these colors or not, but I decided just in case I was going to put a little bit out. And this is Monochrome Tint by Holbein. It's kind of it's a little bit darker than Titan Buff. Transparent Gold Ochre. I don't know if I'm going to use these colors or not, but I decided just in case I decided I'm not going to put this out. If I need it, I'll get it. Now I'm going to see if I can find some more asphaltium. It's kind of it's a little bit darker than Titan Buff. I decided I'm not going to put this out. If I need it, I'll get it. Now I'm going to see if I can find some more asphaltium. There's nothing like live broadcasting. Okay, this is a new one. There's nothing like live broadcasting. Okay, this is a new one. Put a squirt of that out. That's a pretty color. It's a dark brown, but it has golden tones underneath it. Okay, now, the more cold wax that you put into your colors, the more transparent it would become. You want to start out with about 50% cold wax to 50% oil. If you use less oil, cold wax, it would react more like oil instead of oil and cold wax. It would take longer. Transparent it would become. You want to start out with about 50% cold wax. And some of this black, I don't know if you can see it or not, has oil squeezed out of the tube. So I'm going to try to soak up some of that oil. Would react more like oil instead of oil and cold wax. It would take longer. You can see all the oil that came up out of there. Some of your colors have more oil in them. Black. I don't know if you can see it or not. So I soaked up some more. So I'm going to get rid of this. Now I'm going to put down about 50% oil to wax. That's probably a little bit more. With your white, again 50%. But one thing with white is I almost always put more cold wax in my white because, as I mentioned earlier, your white is normally opaque, but cold wax and G-gel will make it more transparent. So you can actually make a transparent white by adding more cold wax to it. Same way with glazes. If you want to glaze something with color, with just a little bit of color, use a lot of cold wax and a little bit of oil and you'll get a nice glaze. So I'm putting about 50% out of each one of these. By adding more cold wax to it. Same way with glazes. If you want to glaze something with color, with just a little bit of color, use a lot of cold wax. I apologize for the double volume because this is my first time. I'm still learning. Okay, I think I have enough of this out, but let's start mixing and see. I apologize for the double. Mix it up good. You want to mix it up. If you have shiny color, that means you don't have enough of cold wax in it. The cold wax will make it more matte. Okay, I think I have enough of this now. Let's start Mix it up really well. And I always wipe my palette knife after each time so I don't contaminate. Now there was a lot of oil in this, so I am going to need more cold wax. There, that took the shine away. Not quite, still a little bit more.
Now there was a lot of oil in this, so I am going to need more cold wax.
Okay. I have that mixed up. Now I'm going to take most of that off, put it here.
Yeah, that took the shine away.
Clean off my brayer, my palette knife, and add some white to it. Because I want to get a nice cool gray. Okay, I like that. Now I'm going to work with the titanium buff. A little bit more cold wax. And I know that because it was still just a little bit too shiny. And after you get used to working with cold wax, you'll kind of know the texture that you're looking for. Take that off.
A little bit more cold wax.
Asphaltium. You can see that brown tone and a goldish brown tone in that. I'm going to put a little bit more in. You can make your color go further by putting more cold wax in. Let's say if you were running out of the asphaltium, just put a little bit more cold wax into it and stretch it a little bit.
You can make your color go further by putting more cold wax in.
This is the gold ochre. This gold ochre is by Utrecht. A little bit more cold wax.
This is the gold ochre.
Wipe my palette knife. This is the Charvon Bright Linen. And I need some more wax. You're going to find that your more expensive brands won't need as much cold wax. Your cheaper brands have more oil and filler in it. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now what I want to do, I'm going to put a little bit of this over here. And I'm going to take some white and a hint of black. Kind of make a blue-gray. I like that color. I'm going to make a little bit more of it. Now this is the blue-gray, and you can see, I don't know if you can see or not, but it is different than that color. And let's make some warm gray. And how would we make warm gray? We're going to take white, a little bit of black, and I could put some of this in it, this gold ochre, but that's got to be too much probably. Okay, and here's a warm gray compared to a cool gray. I hope you can see the difference between those two. Okay, we have all of our colors mixed up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the lid on it really tight. That way I know this will keep for months. And I wanted to show you guys something else. Here's the one that I just
All
did.
our colors mixed up. So
You
what I'm
could
going
get
to do is I'm going to put this
2 8x10s out of this.
really tight.
This
That
would
way
be
I
your
know this
first
will
one,
keep for months.
and this would be your second one. So you could get
Let me
2
show you guys
8x10s, which is 5x7 on the inside.
that I just did. You could get 2 8x10s.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bowl scraper,
First one,
and I like to use the Messermeister bowl scrapers from Amazon.
8x10s, which is 5x7 on the inside.
So I'm just going to take a little bit of my orange.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bowl scraper, and I like
See how
to use
transparent that is?
bowl scrapers from Amazon.
I'm making a real thin layer.
I'm just going to take a little bit of my orange. See how transparent that is?
Okay.
I'm making a real thin layer.
Now, there's some on my scraper, so what I'll do is I'll take it off with my palette knife because I don't want any of that color to go to waste. So that's my first layer right there. Now what I did for the sake of time, what I normally do is I will wait about 30 to 45 minutes for this first layer to set up. It'll set up to where it's kind of tacky. And when you're doing it on paper, it's going to set up a lot quicker, 30 to 45 minutes. If you're working on a board, a cradled panel, it will take longer because the paper is absorbent.
It'll set up to where it's
So for sake of time, last night I did another one just like this. I put something on it, so that's what that mark is there, but that doesn't bother me. So this is the same thing as that, except this is drier than what this is. Okay.
So for sake of time, last night
Now what I want to do is I want to make up
so this is the same thing as that.
some Titan Buff
This is drier.
with some white.
This is.
I don't want it to be white. I just want it to
Now
be,
what I want to do is I want
as you can see, I'm going to make a more neutral.
to tighten up.
Painting. So again, using my brayer or my bowl scraper, I'm just going to put a thin layer on. And if it's not even, I really don't care. I hope this demonstration comes out because it's live. I always tell my students, if it doesn't come out, it doesn't come out, but at least you're trying. Now there's something on there that's causing that scratch.
I hope this demonstration comes out because it's live. I always tell my students, if it doesn't come out, it doesn't come out. But at least you're trying.
Okay.
Something on there that's causing that scratch.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use what's called an oiler boiler. Let me go get it. I forgot to get one out this morning.
Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use what's called an oiler boiler. Let me go get it. I forgot to get one out this morning.
This is what is known as an oiler boiler. I get them from Amazon. And what you can do is put solvent inside of these. And I use Gamblin's Gamsol because it's odorless. And it comes with 2 different type of needles. I hope you can see the size. The blue needle is very thin. The pink needle is much thicker. So you would get a much thinner line with this, a thicker line with that. So I already have some Gamasol in this. So what I'm going to do is just sprinkle a little bit. And you know what? I did not get a line. So you would get a much thinner line with this, a thicker line with that. So I already have some Gamasol in this. So what I'm going to do is just sprinkle a little bit. And you know what? I did not get a line. And you let it on for about 30 seconds. But I wanted to show you, these are made by Gaunt, G-A-U-N-T, from Amazon. Let it on for about 30 seconds. But I wanted to show you, these are made by Gaunt, G-A-U-N-T. Here's the one with the pink needle. They're also good for acrylic, for putting high flow paint in to make lines with. I use them for both cold wax and for, here's the one with the pink needle, acrylic. This is the one that I use more often, the one with the blue. Now what I'm going to do, they're also good for acrylic, for putting, this is live, I tell you. I'm going to take some of my Gamblin, I have a spray bottle that's full of Gamsol. I'm going to pour some into this. This is the one that I use more often, the one with the blue. Now what I'm going to do, put this back down. I'm making a mess, guys. It's live. One thing that I would do if I was making a video for my Patreon group, I could edit it. Well, I can't edit this because we're live. So let me wipe off the excess here. Now, this other one that I used, it's older and it was starting to get, the lid was getting leaky, so I had big dots. But I want to show you what drawing will do. Now, I just drew lines with this. And then what we're going to do is we are going to take our bowl scraper and then we're going to pull this off. Now, since I just put that on about 10 seconds ago, I'm going to wait a little bit. The big drips have been on for a while because that's what poured out before I got the good one. And I usually test it to see if it's ready by going like so, and you can see it's ready. So what you're going to do at an angle is hold this with light pressure, and then you want to wipe. Now you can see where my lines are and where my drips were. So this can give you a beautiful background. That's what you use solvent for. You could also use solvent. If I spray a little bit, I just sprayed a little bit. Now I'm going to let that sit for a little while. That's what you use solvent for. You could also use solvent. I spray a little bit. I wish next time I do this, I'm going to be able to have a chat where you can ask questions. I'm kind of doing this by the seat of my pants, should we say. I'm going to leave this on just for a little bit longer. This is where my tape is. Next time I do this, I'm going to be able to have a chat where you can ask questions. I'm kind of doing this by the seat of my pants, should we say. I'm going to leave this one just for a little bit longer. I'm waiting for this for about 30 seconds, and I think we're just about there now. So there, you can see what a spray will do. That's a nice background for a painting. Now, gee, I was just going to say something just like that. I forgot.
I'm waiting for this.
Lord, help me.
I think we're just about there now. So there, you can see what.
Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this again, and I can cover up as much of this as what I want. I could cover it up with a palette knife, or I could cover it up with a brayer, or I could cover it up with this. So I think what I'm going to do, where's my palette knife at? Where did I put it? Here it is. I'm going to take more of this color. And I'm going to cover some of it up. Now, I'm an intuitive artist. I have absolutely no idea. Now, you can see I've covered some of it up.
I'm an intuitive artist. I have absolutely no idea.
Now, I'm going to take some white. You can see the white is much brighter. Take a little bit of this asphaltium, a little bit of white, see what we get. This is asphaltium with some white in it. Let's put a little bit of orange in it, see what we get. A little bit more orange. Okay, that's a warm brown. Okay, now I am going to get a brayer. I thought I had a brayer out. I don't. This sprayer is by Innovart. I get these purple brayers from Dick Blick. I also use Hobby Lobby brayers, which are my favorite. Hobby Lobby, you want a soft brayer, not a hard brayer at this point, unless you were wanting texture. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into my black with my brayer. Wipe that off. Okay, I'm going to take some of this orange, some white, a little bit more white. I want just a very, very pale orange. Like that. Turn it. Get it to go this way a little bit. Maybe get it to go the other way a little bit. Turn it. Get it to go this way a little bit. Okay. Get it to go the other way a little bit. Now I want some of this gray somewhere. No idea what I'm doing, guys, as far as composition goes. Since I put gray here, I have to have gray up here somewhere else. I just don't want a little bit of gray. I'm going to make the gray a little bit lighter. Maybe we will do that. There, that gave my gray a different value. It's two different values there. So I want a little bit of gray up here somewhere. Do it there. Now I want some of this blue gray. Let's put blue gray even there. That even gives me even more. I'm liking that. I like that. Let's put some over here somewhere. And I'm just putting my color right on the edge. Now see, I touched the black right there with my palette knife. And see what happened? I went down to my orange, which is dry. One thing that I'll say about when you have a drier layer, you can get some really interesting effects. The black right there with my palette knife. You see what happened? Now, I think I want some more white. Down to my orange, which is dry. Right in through here. One thing that I'll say about when you have a drier layer, you can get some really interesting effects. Now, I think I want some more white. Right in through here. Some white there. You can really see it. I'm going to try something. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I had tissue paper over here somewhere. I'm going to try something. I don't know if it's going to work. This is tissue paper. I'm going to take a piece of tissue paper, tear it in half. Or tear it up, scrunch it up, and you see what happened? Tear it up, scrunch it up. I love what happened there. What's happening is that it's bringing up some of that orange do some over and through here too. Put some right here. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna use some of this warm brown, or warm gray. Oh no, this is the brown. Here's a warmer gray, right here. Okay, this is much warmer than this gray. Now I'm going to take a little bit of the blue, put some blue somewhere. And that's this will be more of my focal area. This is much warmer. I don't like it there. Now I'm going to take a little bit of... See how easy it is to take paint off? Put some blue somewhere. And this will be more of my focal area. Okay. So far, so good. Don't know if I like it. We'll find out. I'm going to put a little of this asphaltium, this brown, into the black. And one thing I wanted to show you while I'm here, I'm going to take a little bit of this asphaltium. I'm going to put it, you can see, I'm going to put it right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some marble dust. I get the marble dust from Frederick's. And this whole container is full when you get it. I got it, I think, from Blitz. It will last you a lifetime, and it's cheap. This will add texture to your painting. You want to mix it up as long as you can get it to be mixable. And you can see it is dissolving. When you use marble dust, it also, by the way, will help your wax to dry faster because it's absorbent. So this is texture. And what I can do, if I want it a little bit textured, I can put some of this on it. Wow, didn't mean to do that. And that doesn't necessarily add anything to the piece, but I wanted to show you. You could use sand. There's a lot of different things you can use. That doesn't necessarily add anything to the piece, but I wanted to show you. You could use sand. A lot of different things you can use. And some more black. I hope this turns out, guys. Never know. Okay, now, since I have that orange underneath that is dry, I can draw into this. I think I want to make some of this just a little bit darker. Okay, now, since I have that orange underneath, want to see where my tape is.
I can draw into this. I think I want to make some of this just a little bit darker. Let's see where my tape is.
I don't think this is going to turn out. You never know until you until you take the tape off. You can see I'm going in different directions. Now I'm going to take another piece of that tissue paper. Take this the whole. You could actually use newspaper. You would even get deeper crunches into it. Now I've covered up all of those marks that I did with the oiler boiler. That happens actually a lot. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my oiler boiler. Where did I put it? I'm just going to put a couple drops.
Now I've covered up all of those marks that I did with the oiler boiler. That happens actually a lot. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my oiler boiler. Where did I put it? I'm going to put a couple drops.
Now, I put a couple drops. Your paint has to be fairly thin for this to work, because when you pull a brayer over it, you're pulling off paint. So when you want to do this as last resort, you want to go into areas where it's not so thick. I see it didn't work there.
Your paint has to be fairly thin for this to work.
Let's try it again.
Brayer over it, you're pulling off paint. So when you want to do this as last resort, you want to go into areas where it's not so thick.
Now I'm going to let that sit for a minute or two. I think I'm going to do something with this. I don't like this area right here. Get some more of this Titan buff and some white.
Now I'm going to let that sit for a minute or two.
Because I want it to be quieter in some areas, and it's pretty busy all over.
I don't like this area right here. Get some more of this Titan buff and some white. Because I want it to be quieter in some areas, and it's pretty busy all over.
There, that helps. Now I'm going to go see if I can bring these marks up. I don't know if I can or not. There's one.
There, that helps. Now I'm going to go see if I can bring these marks up.
I'm going to make a couple little lines.
There's one.
Now I can press into this for different designs. I could use stencils. There's a lot of things that I could do. I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to go through this wet wax and pull up some line.
Now I can press into this.
Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous?
Different designs. I could use stencils. There's a lot of things that I could do. I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to go through this wet wax and pull up some line. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous?
There's 4 lines. I want 5. Now, bring up a little bit up there, a little bit here, bigger orange spot there. Don't know if I like that. In fact, I don't. Let's cover it up. How easy it is to work with cold wax. There, I covered some of it up. Yeah. Now, if I wanted to make this spot a little bit bigger, I could. Then I'm going to mess it up a little bit. Don't like that. Don't like that. There. Don't like this little spot right there. There, I covered it up. I'm just going to make a few little lines right in here. Okay, I think I need something bright over here. Turn it upside down. Right in here. Yeah, I like that better. Maybe I need some black. I don't know if I do or not, but we're going to find out. If I don't like it, you know what I can do. Let's see where I have no idea where my tape is. Don't know if I want that or not. We're going to find out. If I don't like it, you know what I can do. Let's see where I have no idea where my tape is. So I'm going to take some more white and cover up some of that. Well, I like that. Put a little bit on the edge. This is kind of a quieter area right here. Okay, we're going to take off the tape. Put a little bit of black, I think right in here. I don't know. Don't like that. Easy to fix. Easy to fix. Okay. I think I'm going to put some of these over here. Okay. All right, guys. There you've seen me do a painting. Now, I'm going to see if I can take this tape off without making a total mess. Get a piece of paper towel. I really appreciate all of you being here. All right, guys. There you've seen
seen me do a painting. Now, I'm going to see if I can take this tape off without making a total mess. Piece of paper towel. I really appreciate all of you being here.
Boy, is this tape ever on? Here we go. I finally got it coming. Here we go. And I will tear it. Well, that didn't work, did it? We'll get it. We'll get it. I will tear it where it's going toward the painting.
Well, that didn't work, did it? We'll get it. We'll get it. I will tear it where it's going toward the painting.
See, I did that by accident. I'm going to make a mess. It's turning out to be the hardest part. Okay, there's one edge. Second edge. Hold it with a clean paper towel. One more pull. I think one more pull. Come on. There, got it, I think. Okay, and you know what? I like it a lot. There's my painting. What I'm going to do, there's my painting, and I have a, what is this, 11 by 14. And I'm put it down over the top of it so you can see what it's going to look like. There you have the painting. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Maybe you can put your comments in down below so I know what you thought. If you have any questions, all you have to do is to ask a question in the comment and I will answer you. I apologize for no
thanks a lot for watching, guys. I really appreciate it.
Comments. I'm going to fix this right here a little bit.
So I know what you
and I can easily do that with my palette knife.
Is to ask a question in the comment and I will answer you. I apologize for no comments. I'm going to fix this right here a little bit. And I can easily do that.
Maybe I don't want to fix it. Maybe I want this line coming down because all the lines are basically going in the other direction. Okay, I like that. I like my painting, guys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And I'm going to end it. And please put your comments in below with your questions. Thanks a lot, everyone. Okay, I like that. I like my painting, guys. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And I'm going